I'm a member of a Red Sox nation. It's a kind of a family. Wherever I roam, a Fenway home, that's where I long to be. I'm a member of a Red Sox nation. It's a kind of insanity. Yeah, I live and die with Red Sox pride for eternity. I fake a smile November until opening day. Suffering baseball withdrawal around the clock. When April comes, hey, meet me down on Yawkey Way. That's when Red Sox Nation starts to rock.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 53 of the Avid Boston Podcast, presented by AVIDBOSTON.com. For everybody joining us right now on Periscope, we do have an earlier recording, unlike many other episodes. There was a day game today. We're all available early, so we will do it a little earlier tonight. So, as always, the episode could be found on SoundCloud within 30 minutes of the conclusion of this broadcast, and will definitely be available on iTunes by your AM commute. And I would also like to take a second to apologize to everybody who listened to the last episode for the terrible audio quality we had. I'm still a rookie, and I'm trying to learn as I go, and just had a couple of unexpected glitches, and we believe that is all worked out. So we will get through this entire episode glitch-free. Joining me, as always, my partner, Dave Kwiatkowski. And why don't you get right through the tumultuous series that was the Chicago White Sox?
Oh, thanks for the honor, Terry. So, the Red Sox just finished up their disappointing three-game set against their counterpart, the White Sox. In Game 1, we had Chris Sale have a dominant game where he went 8 innings, giving up 1 earned run, striking out 10, and taking the loss as we lost 1-0 in that game as the bats were silent. In Game 2, we ended up getting a win. David Price pitched well again, another quality start from our $31 million man. As the bats were decent, we scored four runs, including 2 home runs, one from Jackie Bradley Jr., surprisingly enough, and JD Martinez continues to mash. And that leads us to today. On Sunday, we lose 5-2. The bats were anemic again, and once again, we got great pitching from our starters. Rick Porcello, another quality start, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, and he also took the loss. So not great when it comes to our bats this weekend.
No, not at all. And we joked, well, not really joked, we kind of harped on for a while how the bottom third of our order was an automatic out. And now it seems like the bottom 2/3 of our order are not like necessarily an automatic out, but a probable out. And, the injuries are piling up. Mookie's still not here. That, plays into it a little bit. And Devers maybe shouldn't be here. Who knows? I mean, he's been okay, lately. I think he might be finally on his floor because he's kind of leveling off. And with any luck, he'll continue to go back upwards a little. But, No real consistency, though, one way or the other.
No, I mean, the top half of the lineup has, minus this series here, has been pretty good, obviously, the past couple weeks. But the bottom of the half of the lineup, literally from 5 down, has been bad. I mean, you look at today's lineup, and, Benintendi, Bogarts, Moreland, JD. I mean, that's great. After that, though, Devers, Holt, Bradley, Swihart, and Leon. And Bradley under 200, Leon 244. Holt's been actually really good. Nunez is 253. Hasn't had a walk in over 165 at bats. That's just unacceptable.
I noticed his OBP was low.
Yeah.
And Also joining us tonight, as he often does, he is one half of the Double Coverage podcast, which can be found on iTunes, covering multiple sports. And you can find him on Twitter at Cap Hartsfield. Austin Hartsfield, how are you?
I'm good. I just sighed when I heard that Nunez stat. That's no bueno.
That is no bueno, actually. Yeah, he's just, the injuries with Nunez were a concern, and now I'm kind of convinced he probably is going to be healthy for the long haul, but the bat just hasn't caught up. And he was, well over 300 last year, and I believe even the year before. So, we could spin it like, well, at least we don't have Sandoval, but still.
He's been doing great right now.
He's raking.
Yeah, in San Fran.
Yeah.
Austin usually doesn't sound like he's on the water, but he's battling through a little sickness right now, so he's just really helping the boys out here on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, though.
He's hanging in there. I mean, he's a career 280 hitter, is Nunez, and that's good. Obviously, it's really good. If you can just kind of sit at that mark, and the last couple of years have been good for him, but he doesn't hit for power usually, and just the non-walks is really just it's frightening, honestly. If you go back and look, even throughout his career, he's only had in the 20s for walks once in his career, once in the past 7 years or so. So that's kind of scary.
It is. Yeah.
Just take pitches. Take a couple pitches.
He's had 29 walks in 2016, 20 in 2013, and 22 in 2011.
I feel like Benny's already there.
Benny probably is there. I mean, Benny takes a lot of walks. He's obviously probably our hottest hitter right now. Besides,
that's not good.
He's hitting moonshots, but Benintendi's playing really well. He's got his average up to close to 300. Bogarts is struggling a little bit, but every time I say he's struggling, he goes out and hits 3 hits in a game, and he'll get his average back up to like 285. So
that's how this works. That's how whoever we talk shit about, they're just gonna just rake the next 3 games. So
so I'm not even worried about that. It was a weird series. The Red Sox typically do play down to their opponents every once in a while, and I think we did that. I think with the injuries, like Terry was saying, we have Mookie out, and some guys are a little bit banged up. And you look at the bottom half of the lineup from 5 to 9, and it's not great. And if the top of the half isn't picking up the slack, and they didn't today, just 3 hits on the day total for 1 through 4, you're gonna run into those games like today where we just don't score a lot of runs. And the bullpen, Barnes gave up some runs there at the end, but it didn't really matter at that point.
I feel like they squandered a lot of runners in scoring position opportunity this series, at least.
Yeah,
they did. They were 1 for 11 today with guys, and
it's ridiculous.
It seems like plate discipline has been a problem, though, for the last several weeks anyway. And when Cora was hired, he came in saying we're going to be a lot more aggressive. We're going to launch the ball more. And I'm just wondering if maybe they have to kind of scale that back a little bit and work counts. And there's another faction, especially the hardcore analytics people, that say, well, you don't want to do that because bullpens these days are so specialized that even if you get the starter out, you're still going to face tough pitching. But I feel like there has to be somewhat of a balance there because this team at the plate, the power numbers are good, which wasn't there last year, but there's a lot of ugly at-bats that weren't necessarily there last year. So I'm wondering if they just kind of need to reevaluate things, from that standpoint.
Yeah, I think the personnel is tough right now with that mindset. If you had this team healthy, 100% healthy, your lineup would be Benintendi, Bogarts, Moreland, Martinez, and then add Mookie Betts and add Dustin Pedroia into that. So your top 6 would be guys that can all hit 280 plus, great discipline, plate discipline. Obviously we have the home run hitters and JD and even Moreland at this point and Mookie, obviously. So you would have it. And then at the bottom you'd have like Holt, who when he gets hot, he's really good. Bradley Jr., who just can't hit the ball, and Sandy, who's there to catch, so it's okay. So it looks a little bit better. But right now, I think they need to start working either attacking that first strike fastball and putting the ball in play, or taking some pitches. They kind of just got to get on one side of the coin here. I think a big thing that's frustrating for me is that if you watch these games, and the last two games today, I didn't really get to see as much, so I didn't notice as much the last two. We foul off a lot of pitches right down the middle, and it's very frustrating. And it's the bottom half of the lineup that does it the most. It's Leon doing it. It's Bradley doing it. It's Devers does it all the time. He pops balls up that are down the pipe, and I think that Cora's method is working, and we're just not executing it with the personnel out there at the moment.
And it happens a lot on the first pitch, it seems like, in the bottom of the lineup. Like, especially with Leon. I mean, they're just late. Yeah, they're late all the time. They literally are. They know it's coming, and they just can't catch up to it. And I don't know if it's a, in their head type of thing. I don't know if it's a mechanical thing. I don't know what it is, but they need to kind of get on top of this, because we're going to play another really bad team right now in Baltimore, and now we almost need a sweep now to even it out. Which obviously, if we take 2 out of 3, I'm not going to be upset about, and it's okay. But you want to kind of keep pace, especially with the Yankees playing as well as they have been, and with them getting hit with injuries. You want to take advantage of playing bad teams, and this weekend was a prime example of not taking advantage of a good schedule at the moment.
We'll get to the Yankees shortly, because there could be some things in play for them that's going to make our lives a little difficult if they come to fruition. But let's discuss Mookie real quick. Every time we come on here, which is every 3 or 4 days, I mean, we have the impression that his return is fairly imminent, and they're always saying he felt better than the day before, but at what point, do we really consider, if we're being lied to here about what's going on? Because it's a tough sell to me that he took a bad swing just prior to a game. He was a late scratch 2 or 3 Sundays ago, however long it's been at this point, and he's been out ever since. So, I mean, what's really going on with Mookie Betts?
I don't think that there's anything shady. I think that he's hurt, but I don't think he's as hurt as he thinks he is. This is like the first real injury that he's had, if we can think about it. I mean, that's all I can remember. Didn't we discuss that the last one was a concussion?
Yeah, besides the concussion thing, it's the first thing that he's been out for a long period of time, I believe.
But it's like kind of like Kawhi Leonard syndrome in basketball. It's your first injury, so you're going to be kind of shaky about playing on it afterwards, in my opinion.
If John Farrell was the manager of this team, would he still be out?
No, he would have probably not even missed time, and he probably would have got more hurt, and ended up with a more serious injury. I think he's hurt. I think lied to is the term I would want to use, but
I think it's being stretched.
Yeah, I think being stretched. I think it's like white lies at this point. I don't think they want to put him on and say, listen, he's going to be out a month. I think they want to keep saying he's on 10-day DL. We're going to take a week, maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and then reevaluate. Should be back then. And the fact that he's traveling, I believe he's traveling, right?
He is traveling with the team. Yeah.
So that's good. That shows signs that he might come in for a couple of bats here, and if he tries the pregame and he feels good, then he'll get in there. And I think they're just taking it really slow with him, and I think they should, especially with up until this point, this series, our bats have been good, and we've been winning games. And even this game, I mean, we lost a game 1-0, and that's just a pitcher's duel. So if we reverse that score and we win 1-0, we can say, well, we took 2 out of 3 from the White Sox. Our bats are low.
We won a series.
We're winning. Exactly. So I think that for right now we can keep him out. If we lose this series to Baltimore and he's still out, then maybe it's time to start pressing the red button a little bit and say, listen, we're not hitting the bottom of our half of our lineup stinks, and Mookie's still out. What's going on?
Twitter might explode.
Well, he has to be activated before he could come in and pinch hit. for whatever reason. So it would have to be known before the game starts, whatever.
Yep.
And then there would probably, somebody's going to get optioned at that point. But I don't know. And there's still a lot of talk of a rehab assignment taking place